My name is Alan McKirdy. I'm 61 years old, and I now reside in the wonderful town of Auchterarder in rural Perthshire. And I guess that my passion is the Scottish countryside. I've had an interest in the Scottish countryside ever since I was a student. I studied at Aberdeen University, and originally I was going to be a chemist. I went to university to study industrial chemistry, but after a while I discovered geology, and I discovered what an amazing subject it was. It was a way of looking at the landscape in a different way, to understand past environments, and every strata of rock is a page in their autobiography, and I developed a real passion for it. And throughout my time, I worked for Scottish Natural Heritage for many years, for about 20 years, and that was an enduring passion, trying to turn the organisation onto this amazing story, which was quite difficult because we were quite a bureaucratic organisation, more interested in bean counting than looking after the countryside, I sometimes thought. But I retained that interest in my subject throughout my employment with SNH, and over the years I've written a number of books. I've written some children's books with my dear wife, who's over there. And the purpose of it was to try and share my passion about the countryside with a wider audience, to get people to read the landscape, which sounds quite a difficult concept, but to understand the various components that make up the landscape, and to understand the geological history that's gone before, because it's a very long and tortured geological history that we have in Scotland. The planet was formed about 5 billion years ago, and about 3 billion of those years are represented in the rocks of Scotland, in the geology of Scotland. And over the last 3 billion years, Scotland has moved right across the globe. It started its life, amazingly, close to the South Pole. Wow. How do we know that? It's quite a complicated story to explain that. It's all about paleomagnetism, and I don't think we've really got time to go into that, but there's good, factual, sound evidence for all of this, that Scotland has been on the most amazing journey, as every other continent in the world has been as well. We've moved, all the continents are constantly on the move. They move at the rate that your fingernails grow, about 6 or 7 centimeters per year. So over billions of years, it's not really surprising that the continents have moved around the globe to the extent that they have. So we started close to the South Pole, and then we moved through every climatic zone that the Earth has to offer, including the equator. We spent about 50 million years on the equator, and at that time we had tropical rainforests. Then we moved further north, and then we had shifting deserts with lumbering reptiles. We had our very own Jurassic Park with dinosaurs, and then we had the most amazing geological episode. For many, many millions of years, Scotland was a little piece of North America. And about 65 million years ago, the North Atlantic began to form. And the two continental land masses of North America and Europe split apart and moved apart. And as part of this process of continental breakup, we got a whole string of volcanoes that developed down the Northwest Highlands, from Skye to St Kilda to Ardnamurchan to Rum. And these volcanic episodes mark the opening of the North Atlantic. And so we've had the most amazing history, and that's really my passion. When I was asked to do this thing, I was asked to say what gets me up in the morning, and it's telling this story. I've got the great good fortune of having a contract with an Edinburgh publisher at the minute to write a popular book on the geology of Scotland. And hey, what a gift, what an absolute joy. This is the sort of thing that, I'm really still passionate about. 40 years on from hearing this story, I can remember when I was a student thinking, by the time I get old enough and venerable enough, somebody will have written that story for me, or it will have already been in print. And that didn't happen, because geologists are boring old farts who write books for other scientists, and they're really very, very concerned about what their peer group think. So anything that dumbs down the subject, many geologists are very, very concerned about, and they feel that would tarnish their reputation. But hey, I couldn't care less. So we've just got stuck in there and written a number of texts. One was produced about 10 years ago, and amazingly, the publisher asked me to come back and write another one, this time slightly shorter. So I was commissioned to write 20,000 words, but of course I wrote almost double that because I just couldn't shut up. And that should be coming out for publication in about 6 months' time. I just finished the text only last Sunday evening. So there we are. That's my passion. That's part of who I am. There's another part of me, which is the family guy. I've been happily married to Moira for 39 years. We have our 40th next year, which will be fantastic. And we've got 3 lovely children. And I'm very, very proud of their various achievements. My oldest boy, or our oldest son, is a doctor. He's now a consultant psychiatrist, and we're absolutely delighted when he qualified to do that, because we thought, hey, that's going to come in very handy at some time in the not too distant future. And our second son works for the Heritage Lottery Fund and gives away loads and loads of cash. And our daughter, Fiona, her subject is cancer biology, and she works in clinical trials at Barts Hospital in London. So we're a very happy, close family, even though we live many hundreds of miles apart. We see each other as often as we can. And this little device here has turned out to be very helpful. Of course, it took Dad a long, long time to be convinced that this fella was going to be of value, but it's proved to be very useful in bringing the family together, because every day we exchange photographs. Moira and I send the kids photographs saying, where are we today? And they'll, depending on how busy they are, they'll write back and give their suggestions as to where we might be. So we try and communicate as often as we can. So, hey, that's my story.